Good evening, Patriots. Constitution Vet here, and welcome back to my channel. All right, guys, another week's complete. Another chance for me to sit down and make content for you guys. I love all of you. Thank you so much for the support. You know the drill. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on notifications and keep on supporting the brave Patriots down below. All right, guys. So I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but our current surrender-in-chief made a speech today. And while it was agonizing and disgusting, there was one small part that stood out to me. One little bit that made my hair stand up and should concern all of you.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about.
Hold up. Wait a second. Let's go back. Because did he just say what I think he said?
This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the moment when our surrender-in-chief became a dictator. That moment right there. If you haven't been paying attention to any of the videos I've been making so far, if you don't know your history, this would just pass you by, not mean anything. The moment the President of the United States says it's not about freedom or your personal choice, excuse me? It's about keeping everyone safe, protecting those around you. Wait a second, time out. If it's not about personal freedom and choice, what does that mean? What are you saying? So I want to look at this in a positive light. Things are already happening that serve as a bulwark, a defense against tyranny like this. Now it's official. There's no hiding from it anymore. He is a dictator. But take heart and know that you can fight and defend against crap like this. Without any further ado, sit back, relax, grab your drink, and let's get started. As I mentioned before, things are already happening that can serve as a strong defense against oppression like this. Since fall of 2020, we are seeing states embrace a new defense against tyranny. That defense is known as state sovereignty. Now, this topic hasn't really been a big thing until recently. Dr. Steve Turley, another brave patriot, has made the argument multiple times that what we are seeing is a gradual rise of states seizing their sovereignty. Now, what does that mean? Well, when the federal government issues a command or an order, the states don't have to follow that order. Shocker, I know. But recently, we've seen multiple states fight back and say, no, we are not going to follow that order. We are not going to follow that law. Instead, we are going to embrace our own laws, our own sovereignty. The definition for this is down below. Now, I won't read it word for word, but in summary, state sovereignty is when a certain state recognizes that they have their own power. And at any moment, they can seize that power and defend it however they wish. We are seeing this happen in multiple states. Florida is a great example. But tonight, I'll be focusing on my beloved state of Texas. As we can see, throughout the past year or so, Texas has fought against this administration time after time after time again. And it continues, as you can see here. The most recent action being down below. There's a trend here. There's a pattern. Texas will not bow down to this dictator. We are not cowering and surrendering to tyranny. We are fighting back. Now, for many years, there's been a topic, kind of a joke, really. And this joke has been passed around, laughed at. Ah, that's funny. That would never happen. But now, this topic it could be a reality. Now, to be honest with you guys, I'm kind of on the fence about this certain topic. But for many years, it was a joke. People laughed at it. People said that's no, it's not going to happen. It's not possible. And yet, there's currently a bill in the state of Texas that will be brought to the floor and voted on. Now, to be clear, this is not saying we are going to vote and leave. What this means is that we are going to have a conversation. We are going to vote and decide, hey, are we going to have this talk? Is this actually going to happen? And if enough people vote yes, for the next year or 2 years, we're going to be talking about this seriously. And it's going to be all worked out. So my point is, Texas is an example of a state that has seized its sovereignty and has fought back tooth and nail against executive tyranny. Now, as you gaze upon this lovely photo of the Texas flag at the same height as the American flag, let's ask ourselves this question. What caused Texas to become this renegade state of federal defiance? How did all this happen? The answer? The Comanches. Now, if you've been with me long enough, you know that I've already made a video about the Comanche Empire. However, this video is going to take a different focus. And instead, we're going to look at how state sovereignty has evolved over time, beginning with the Comanche Empire. As you can see here on this wonderful map, the Comancheria was massive. It's hard for us to fathom just how big it really was until you see something like this. From the mid-1700s to 1900, the Comanche Empire forestalled Euro-American expansion. From the Spanish trying to gain a foothold in this region and failing horribly, all the way through Mexico, Texas, the French, the Confederacy, the United States, all of them were unable to even make a dent in this Comanche Empire. These ferocious horse lords dictated the evolution of Texas history. Everything that happened in this state happened because of the Comanche. For almost 200 years, Texas was a land molded through bloodshed, and that's not an exaggeration. If you chose to settle in this last frontier, the Comancheria forced you to embrace a life of constant struggle. In this multinational game of Texas, you either win or you die. There is no middle ground. There was no peaceful coexistence. This was not a land of pastoral bliss. It was a land where every day you woke up, you have to be willing to fight or die. Now, more than just land, the Comanche Empire produced fierce individuals, people who embraced struggle and fought for what they believed in, such as Buffalo Hump and Quanah Parker, two very notable chiefs throughout Comanche history. Now, those who fought against the Comanche had to become just as fierce and unwavering in their beliefs, such as Jack Hayes and Antonio Menchaca. The people who eventually conquered the Comanche had to become like the Comanche. They had to learn how to fight like them, ride like them. They had to understand how the Comanche functioned and operated. Only then were they able to finally conquer them. Today, the Comanche ferocity lives on in the political spectrum. People who fight for their beliefs and their state, such as these men right here. Now, whether you like these guys or not is irrelevant. The fact is, they represent their state, and they have fought for their state sovereignty. However, this isn't just applicable to people who are born and live in Texas. Recently, we've seen a very fascinating trend of influential people coming to this state. That same passion, ignited by the Comanche, burns brightly in people such as Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, two very influential people who left California and came to Texas. And if you watch their recent interviews or videos, if you read about them, they've embraced this unique Texan ideology. They've come to enjoy our state sovereignty. But what is the Texan ideology? What does that actually look like? If you're not from Texas, what is it? In my own words, I answer it like this. It's an unwavering commitment to protect one's individual liberty against all forms of tyranny. If that means embracing a life of struggle to achieve and maintain said liberty, then so be it. Now, obviously, this ideology doesn't just apply to Texans. You can find this mindset in places like Florida and South Dakota. Point being, state sovereignty is not this weird foreign topic. It's a real, tangible thing that you can see growing every single day. Final takeaways. As Texas continues to fight against tyranny by embracing its sovereignty, then more states will do the same. And again, we are seeing that happen day by day. Constant warfare made Texas a land where only the strong survived. And that's because of the Comanche Empire. They dominated Texas for almost 200 years, molding fierce individuals who would rather die than surrender. Today, modern Texans embrace this renegade maverick ideology, eager to protect their liberties from abusive rulers. As I showed in the beginning of this video, our current surrender-in-chief has evolved from being a president to being a dictator. Now, more than ever, we as patriots need to regain our sovereignty. And it can be done through the local level, local government, your state government. As I've shown you, states like Florida, Texas, South Dakota, we have owned our state sovereignty, while some states may cower in fear and be sheep. States like Texas will continue fighting back. We will continue being wolves, and we will never back down. We will never kneel before this new dictator. I hope you liked that, guys. Again, I'm trying to create a new format for my videos, trying to keep them short, clear, concise. I am using old school PowerPoint, but hey, if it works, it works. Also, please make sure to check out Lumberjack Logic's channel. Neil and I got together earlier this week and we made a bunch of bite-sized history videos, like really short videos over different topics. State sovereignty was one of those topics. He'll be releasing those videos over the next few weeks while he's out elk hunting. In closing, I know this moment in our nation's history is scary and it can be terrifying. However, it can also be liberating. Knowing how much power you actually have as a citizen, knowing how much power the Constitution has, and knowing how much power your state actually has, you can begin to regain your sovereignty and create a strong, unmovable foothold against tyranny. Never surrender, never submit. This is Constitution Vet, signing out.